Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Welcome to Breathe Within Yoga with Julianne Duffy. Before we get started today, I'm going to bring up a few things, some things that have been really bothering me. We are going on to week 4 of being in self-isolation or quarantine. First, I would like to define quarantine self-isolation. Self-isolation and quarantining yourself is appropriate when you are sick. When you are being forced to self-isolate and quarantine and you're not sick, we have to look at what that truly is. And that is being in jail. When you are taken, locked up, without your own consent, you're put in jail. We are currently under worldwide mass arrests, mass house arrests, to clarify. My local provincial government, I'm in Canada, has recently announced that they will be tracking you with your cell phone when you leave your house. All of these are suspiciously like what happens when you are under house arrest, when you have the little band around your ankle or whatever, and you're not allowed to leave, you're stuck in your own house. It's just an interesting coincidence of how this completely reflects how we're being under house arrest. And if you follow what's happening with a lot of famous people, the same things don't apply to them. So it's just an interesting observation. And I say we have to observe immensely. Our children are being forced into house arrest. My daughter has done nothing wrong. I live in a little village. There's not very many people. I built a house in a development. There's all of 3 houses, and there's supposed to be 70 some houses in this development. And there's a park. There's a park. There's nothing near it. It literally is this park in the middle of nowhere. You'll have seen it on shows like Detour, I believe, is one of the shows. They actually highlighted this park in the middle of the prairies that has nothing around. That would be the park by my house. I look out my front window. I see prairies and this park. And when the hammer of our draconian governments came down, that park got taped up with police tape. This park that my daughter played at, pretty much one of the only children, because we live in this little tiny village, cannot access this park. But every time we look out the window, my daughter is told from seeing this that she is not welcome here, that she is disease-ridden, and she is a hazard, as we all have become. We have all become guilty unless we can prove we're innocent. And that is part of this house arrest. We're all guilty of spreading disease. We're all guilty of killing somebody through spreading this disease. That is what's happened to us. This perspective is sick, demented, and weird. This is not balanced. There is nothing truthful about what is happening to us. Nothing at all. The numbers don't add up. None of it adds up. It is mass hysteria. And the ones that are going to be affected the most are going to be the children. My daughter's life is her childhood's being taken away. Completely being taken away. She's an only child, so she has no other children. It's been a month since she has seen physically any other children. She wants to play. She wants to go to the playground. She wants to interact with people. She's very social. She loves talking, doesn't matter who they are, loves talking to them. The internet is not the same. Talking to somebody online is not the same. We are in a crisis, and it's not a virus crisis. They easily locked us down through fear and panic, and the information they're providing is not justified. I will leave you with this. Think about you being under house arrest. If you're lucky enough to be one of those people that can still go to work, you've got a little more freedom than most people. But we have clearly been put on mass house arrest, and we've all been made guilty. We're not being proven innocent. We're not being allowed to be innocent. We're all guilty of spreading asymptomatic symptoms, which I would say if we have done this, I should be seeing many people have dying around me, but I'm not. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of untruth, a lot of deception, and a huge amount of lies and fear. And fear is perpetuating those lies. We're becoming scared of our neighbors. Neighbors are pretty much calling in. Like, we literally live in the Fifth Reich. Calling in your neighbors. Maybe they're hiding somebody who's Jewish. Calling in your neighbors. Maybe you're hiding, like, how dare you leave your house? I don't buy this. I don't buy anything that's happening. And I'm not gonna lie. I didn't trust the government to begin with, and since this entire thing happened, I trusted it even less. And I've been trying to stay positive and neutral, but I can't anymore. If I don't say this, who's gonna say it? Because everyone seems to be terrified of saying what is truthfully going on. And we have been put on mass house arrest. Mass house arrest. It's not justified. And if you say, oh, you know, stay at home, save a life. Like, let's first roll this back a little bit. Since the dawn of us ever existing, there's been diseases that have killed us. Some people survive, some people don't. That is always how it's been. This has not changed. This virus does not hunt you, it is not out to get you, it's looking for weakness, and if you just luckily enough, pick it up. There's a lot of other things. We can get into vaccinations, we can get into the 5, I can't even say it, the 5 with that letter that comes after H. All this stuff is just an interesting coincidence that it all just lines up. I was a conspiracy theorist. I'm not gonna lie. I've been doing research for years. And it honestly shocks me how everything I've ever heard about has literally come out. Like, playbook by playbook has come out. And it's not a joke. It is literally the playbook for the world order that they want. I encourage you to question everything and every narrative. If it brings up fear, as I have said every time we come to this practice for these last 4 weeks, fear does not create truth. There is no truth. When they are consistent, they are getting your consent through fear, not through actual legitimate information. It is completely fear-based. It's emotional, and if you sit and feel where it comes up, you will know it's not true. When you sit and you are connected to source and you ground yourself in this reality, you can feel how untrue everything is. They've always lied to us. So why would we believe them now? It is fear. They are selling fear, and they have gotten so good at it. So good. They have mastered this program. They've tested it out. There'll be no bank run. They've already tested that out through demolishing the Cyprus dollar years ago when they did the whole thing in the mass run of the banks. They closed those all down. You can't go run, even if the economy is collapsing. You can get a few dollars out of your bank machine. That's it. They've closed all the banks. You have to book an appointment to go inside. They have mastered every part of this controlled demolishment of our society. So what do? What do we do? We have to talk about this. We have to share this information. We have to stand in not being fearful that what we're saying is against the narrative. I know, they'll probably come knocking on my door to take me out like they did in China. I'm pretty sure that's half of what happened. There's a lot of missing people. And I don't think they all died from a virus. I'm gonna say, my suspicion is their government took them out. Because conveniently, you know, again, another coincidence was the riots that were happening in Wuhan and in Hong Kong and all these places, even in Italy where that place is happening. There was a lot of riots prior and a lot of people trying to start speaking up against the government. And then there is just that weird coincidence with the 5 after the H letter technology, and that they had been rolled out before this came in. And then if you do go and drive around, I drove around the city. We live near Calgary, Alberta. They are putting these 5 letter after H towers all over the place while you are in your home asleep. It is going up. They're getting attached to your public schools. Again, just a weird coincidence because everything's a coincidence. No, it's not. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in source connections, and there is things that are clearly being done to us. So we need to speak up. There's never been a time to stop obeying and be compliant. Stop censoring yourself. Look at what is actually happening. The reality is you've never lived in a truthful reality. That was what led me down this years ago. When I started this practice, 2011, I started going into teacher training and going down this yoga path. And one of the most important things that I did that changed my life was meditating on the idea of seeing the truth. That was what I meant. I meditated hardcore for months and months about seeing truth. And there was many times during this process that I wished I would not have been seeing the truth. But now the truth is all around us, and we're ignoring it because they're inputting us with fear, 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 and lies. Be distracted by this illness. Don't look at what all these other things that are going on behind the scenes are happening. Don't question self-isolation because you're saving lives. You know, if you're feeling guilty about the fact that I have to stay home to save a life, you know what? You probably already contributed to somebody dying by passing on some cold or flu that eventually got to somebody with a weak immune system at some point and killed somebody. So you know what? Let's go back, and you might as well feel guilty just for existing as a human. So I am done. I am done. I don't live in fear. I am not fearful of this virus. I am extremely concerned by what is happening based on our governments. And there is no bullshit white hats coming to save us. There is nobody saving us. We are connected to Source God. God is here to help us. And we need to all reconnect to Source God because that's the only way we are going to fix this. And we need to come together as a community. Meaning, you can't be scared of your neighbors. You can't be telling on your neighbors. You need to be working with your neighbors. And we all need to wake up. And on that, my rant, we will get started. And if you've watched this far and haven't actually turned off the YouTube channel, I'm very impressed because I feel that most of the time I'm not being heard. So I applaud you for listening to my rant because people don't want to hear what I say. Because what I say makes you uncomfortable. What I say, the truth, makes people uncomfortable. Especially since all we're being fed is lies. So when you're saying the truth doesn't fit in the lie narrative that we have going on around us. So let's find our truth and let's find our breath, because that's the only way we're going to fix this, is we need to stick together as humans. Do not look outside you for saving. The governments are not there to save you. The governments are clearly controlling you at a different level. There's no white hats, if you believe that. Like, I'd love to believe that there's some people going to say that. It's controlled. Everything's controlled. Everything is controlled. We have to digest that. For us to move forward, we need to learn the truth so we can accept that this is where we've come from and then choose to do better. So when we go forward and we are released from our house arrest, we choose to turn away from these systems that have done us harm, have lied to us, manipulated us in that fear, that fear that is really connected to death. That's what this whole entire fear is. It's a fear of killing somebody or yourself dying. And that shows how messed up we are as a species. We are so disconnected to source, to truth. The reality is we have a purpose here. Every single one of us has a purpose here. And we will live as long or as short as we're meant to fulfill that purpose. And that is the reality. So if you're going to be killed off by a virus, that's just going to be what happens. If you're going to be killed in a car accident, that's what's going to happen. Living in fear of what might be is not living. Because if you can really sit there and go, during these last 4 weeks, if you've been essentially self-isolating, and then you did just suddenly die because you choked on something in your home and you're by yourself or whatever, whatever could happen. Did you get to live? Did you get to live before you died? And that is a perfect example of what we're sitting in right now. We're not living. We're not living in our houses locked down. We're not living. So there is some perspective for you. So let's connect to source. Let's connect to truth and our breath. So let's come to a comfortable seated position. Move the flesh away from your seated bones. Sitting up tall, we're going to lengthen through the spine. Bring the shoulders up towards the ears as you take a deep breath in. Let's close the eyes. So we exhale, let the shoulders go down, lengthening through the torso. Let's bring our focus to our breath. Deep, full breath. Let that inhale come in, creating space. Noticing that through my little rant here, any observation, noticing thoughts, whatever it was. If there's anything important, we'll get it after class. Just let it all slowly go. We're setting that intention for the next few minutes that we're going to create space, connection, and love. Let's take another deep, full breath. Maybe we're visualizing that breath as a healthy, healing, energetic light coming into our being. Completely feel the torso expand. And then as we exhale, we're just letting it go. One more focused, deep breath. Let the inhale come in. Let the torso expand. Let the breath completely envelop the entire torso. And then as we exhale, this time let's notice the breath leaving. Maybe we see that breath again transmuting into that healthy, healing, truthful light, just being spread out beyond us. Let's do one more of these breaths. Get another deep, full inhale. Let the torso completely expand. And then let that go. You can keep the eyes closed or gently gaze forward. And we're going to let those legs go forward in front of us. If we want to have our strap nearby, we're going to use that. We're going to come into our Dhanurasana. So we're sitting tall. So maybe you've got a pillow or something under the glutes to help lift the hips. Sitting up tall, little bend in the knees. Feet are active. We're going to rotate our arms overhead, lengthening through the spine. Strong core, belly button to spine, pulling up on the pelvis. Exhale, bring those hands by the hips, shoulders away from the ears. Lengthening through the spine. This is our Dhanurasana, our L shape. We've done this before. Strong core. Another deep, full breath here. And then as we exhale, we're going to grab our strap, place it right around both feet. Let's grab evenly with the right and the left hand. Little back bend, opening through the chest. Let the torso expand towards the ceiling. And then as we exhale, we're bending at the hips, bending the knees, allowing the torso to come towards the thighs, gazing towards our toes. So we've got that strong, long spine. So we're trying to make sure all of this movement is from the hips. So as we inhale, we're expanding through the torso. And then as we exhale, we're releasing. Let's come back to our visualization. So if it feels good, you can close the eyes. Let's bring in that breath. Maybe we see it, feel it, however we resonate, we feel that beautiful deep breath that comes into the chest, the belly, the entire torso, through the obliques, the back of the body. And then as we exhale, we imagine we've got a little more space here all through the hips as we start to bring ourselves a little bit closer, or imagining it a little bit closer to our torso as we gently release the breath. Noticing how that breath gets sent out as that beautiful healing light. Let's do that 2 more times. Another deep, full breath. The torso expands. And then as we exhale, we're just releasing, letting ourselves get a little bit closer to the thighs. Seeing the breath slowly dissipate. One more healing, full breath. Let that beautiful, connective source light come in. With this breath, you're feeling more connected, more centered, more love. And then as we exhale, we just let that all go. Release the strap, let the chin come to the chest, let all the breath release. See the breath releasing what is not needed and transmuting it into a healing, connected light for everybody else. The next breath in, we slowly bring ourselves away from our legs, sitting up tall. And we're going to come into a reverse plank, so a supine plank. So what we're going to do here, we're going to come onto our elbows, legs are straight. Where our elbows are, we're going to place our hands, fingers pointing towards our feet. And our fingers are spread nice and wide. Now you've got a couple options. First option is we bring the feet flat to the floor. We start to lift the hips. This is a reverse tabletop, trying to get those hips up to knee height, and if it's comfortable, maybe let the head drop between the shoulders, but you don't have to. That's the first level. Second level, we bring the legs straight. Grounding those hands still where they are. We'll start to bring those hips up, bringing a beautiful plank position. Let the head release back. Let's hold for a moment, so wherever we're at, whether we're doing our tabletop or our reverse plank. Let's take another deep, full breath. Feel the breath come into the body. And then as we exhale, we're going to slowly release as we keep our focus on letting go of the breath, sending out that beautiful healing light. Let the hips come to the floor. And we'll all bend our knees. Let's hug our knees towards our chest, chin to chest. Release. We'll do that one more time. So again, your choices. Let's come back onto the forearms, but where the elbow is where our hands go. We're going to spread those fingers nice and wide. Again, you can plant those feet. So the knees are right over the heels or ankles as we lift up those hips. So that's your tabletop position. Or again, you can extend those legs. Trying to get those feet flat to the floor. So we lengthen, deep breath in, shoulders away from the ears. And let that breath slowly go, bringing yourselves back down to the floor. Perfect. Let's hug the knees once again, chin to chest. Release. On the next breath, we'll bring out our left leg, straightening it. We're going to bring our right knee so it's pointing towards the ceiling, and let's add a twist. So we're going to sit up really tall, lengthening through the torso. Stay right here. This is our first level. Or we're going to start to bring our right foot to the outside of the left leg. So that takes it a little bit deeper, so wherever you want to go. We're sitting up tall. We're going to use our left arm to hug the right leg. The right arm will gently float up towards the ceiling as we take a deep breath in. And then as we exhale, we let that hand land by our hip. Start to bring our gaze over the shoulder as we twist. Imagine the belly can come right by the thigh. Let's take another deep, full breath. And then as we exhale, we're just releasing. Imagine we can twist just a tiny bit deeper for this last moment. And then as we inhale, bring yourselves back through center. And let's release that leg, shake it out. We'll do our twist on the other side. So when you're ready, left foot comes flat to the mat, right leg is straight. This is your first level. Or bring that left foot to the outside of the right leg. Sitting up tall, this time the right arm will grab the left leg. We start to bring the belly past the thigh. Let's reach that left arm up towards the ceiling. Let it land a few inches from our hip as we gently twist over to our left side. Maybe bring the gaze over the shoulder. Sitting up tall, so as we inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, we twist. Another deep, full breath. And then slowly unwind. Bring yourselves back through center. Take a moment, shake it out. Let's sit up tall. Let's rotate those arms overhead. And let's come once again through forward fold. So bend the knees quite a bit as we let those hands land towards the feet, the chin to chest. Release. And then we'll slowly bring ourselves up. We're going to stretch out our ankles today. So coming through all fours, let's quickly do a set of cat and cows to warm up the spine. So making sure those wrists are under the shoulders, the knees are under the hips. Toes can be flat or tucked, whatever feels a little better. Let's drop the belly, opening the chest, the top of the head and the tailbone touch. Deep breath in. And then as we exhale, chin to chest, rounding the spine. Imagine someone squeezing out all our air. Let's do that 2 more times. Another deep, full breath in. Maybe come back to that visualization of bringing the breath in. See that beautiful white golden light filling up the torso. And then as we exhale, we're releasing the breath, letting that all go. 2 more times. Another deep, full breath. Opening through the torso, top of the head. We imagine it touches the tailbone. And then as we exhale, we release the breath. Last time, stay with the visualization if that feels good. Breathing in that beautiful healing energy, sending it into the entire torso, that connection, that truth. And then as we exhale, we let go of that which is not needed. Maybe that gray energy starts to leave and we see it transmute into that beautiful healing energy connection. And then just take a moment in child's pose. We'll open up our knees nice and wide, let the toes touch, let the seated bones come back, let the arms come long. Allow the top of the head to come to the floor, lengthening through the spine. Once again, deep full breath. Let the torso expand. Feel the breath come into the front, the belly, the obliques, into the back of the body. You're coming away from the floor. And then as we exhale, we're releasing, getting closer to the floor, the mat, letting that breath take us a little deeper. One more deep, full breath. Feel that beautiful breath expanding through the entire torso. And then as we exhale, we're letting go of that which we don't need, and we see it transmute into that beautiful centered light. The next breath, we're slowly bringing ourselves up, and we're going to stretch into our ankles and toes today. So what we're going to do here, we're going to bring our toes, we're tucking our toes under. So you can see here, we're going to tuck our toes. You want to put your pinky toe into that as well, so both feet. Starting on all fours, we're going to start to bring our weight back. Now, as soon as you feel that stretch into the toes and into the ankles, kind of wherever you're feeling it, into the feet, you can stay right here. You can always bring your weight forward. If you want to go a little deeper, you can start to bring your hands off the floor, maybe onto the thighs. So it's a little more intense here. You're sitting up tall. Now, to distract us from our toes while we're here, we're going to bring up our left arm, bring it up to shoulder height. We're going to gently bring it across our chest. Using the right arm to support it, we're going to gently encourage that left arm across our chest. Now we're going to gaze over the left shoulder, the beautiful stretch into the shoulder and into the arm. Let's take a deep breath here. Gently exhale. Let's take another deep, full breath. It's going to feel like Christmas when we release those feet. And then as we exhale, we'll slowly release the arm, bring it back through center. It's going to feel really, really good. We'll slowly come back through all fours. Coming back onto our seated bones, feet are flat. We're going to reverse this. This time we're going to stretch into the front of the ankles. So we'll start to come back, bringing those thighs towards the torso. Beautiful, strong core. Deep breath in. And exhale. Feel a beautiful stretch into the front of the ankles. And let that go. Let's do one more breath here. Now, if this is too much, you're always welcome to keep the legs flat to the mat. Don't feel like you have to get those knees off the mat. You want to try to avoid falling away from the thighs. Just feel a beautiful stretch. And slowly back to the floor. Perfect. We're going to do that one more time because we're going to stretch out our right arm when we do our toe stretch. So coming back through all fours, curl those toes under, sitting tall. Let's bring the right arm up to shoulder height. We're bringing it across our chest. Left arm comes up, and we're going to hug that arm as we gently gaze over the right shoulder this time. Deep breath in. Feel a beautiful stretch into the toes. Again, if at any moment it becomes too much, you're welcome to come back forward. So just let the hands come back to the mat. Take the weight off the toes if it becomes too much. We're going to challenge ourselves, opening up those toes and the ankles today. Take another deep, full breath. And then as we exhale, slowly unwind the arm. We'll build it up like Christmas. And gently come forward. Let the toes come flat to the mat. Shake them out if you need to. We'll bring our weight back onto the ankles. Let those knees come towards the thigh. Again, we're trying not to fall away from our thighs. So we're trying to pull, use those core muscles, belly button to spine. Let those knees come up towards the torso. And gently back through to seated. Awesome. We'll release the legs. We're going to finish up with our candle pose and then come into our Savasana. So grabbing your strap. We're going to start by bringing both feet into the strap. The top of the feet are supported. So we let the legs extend towards the ceiling. Now you may want to have a little bend in the knees. As we lengthen through the back of the legs, pushing through our heels if we can step onto the ceiling, rocking the left and the right shoulder under. Let's take a deep breath here. As we exhale, making sure those shoulders are away from the ears, they're rocked under. We just feel a beautiful stretch into the back of the legs. We're allowing the blood to to flow the opposite way with the feet above the head. You can close the eyes if you'd like, grabbing evenly with the right and left hand. We're just trying to keep, no, we don't want to avoid any extra stress into the shoulders and upper body. Let's take a few moments here. We'll take another deep, full breath. Maybe imagine that healing breath coming into your body once again. Take a moment there. And then as we exhale, just let that go. See the breath releasing what's not needed. And it transmutes into a beautiful healing energy around us. Let's do that 2 more times. Another deep, full breath. Let the torso expand. Feel yourself coming up off the floor as you take this inhale. Feel that beautiful light coming in. And then as we exhale, we're just releasing the breath, letting go of that which we don't need. Noticing how we're sending out that beautiful healing light by healing ourselves. Last time, deep, full breath. See if we can bring in as much breath into this body as possible. Let the entire torso expand. And then once again, just let that go. And then slowly release the strap. See if you can maybe let those feet stay up for just an extra moment. And then let the knees bend, bring them into the chest, rock it out. We'll transition into our Savasana. So you've got a few options. You can let the feet come to the mat. Maybe the knees touch and the feet open up as wide as the mat. Or maybe the legs come straight. Or Baddha Konasana, the bottoms of the feet touch. Find what's most comfortable today. Let the back of the shoulders rock under, the arms are supported by the floor, the chin is slightly tucked, so we've got that beautiful elongated spine. And then we're going to come into our breath. Once again, we're going to come into that visualization of that beautiful healing light coming into our body. So as we take a deep breath in, we're again going to visualize, see, or just intend that that beautiful energy comes into our body, fully expanding the entire torso. Feel it come in. Take a moment, hold it there. Just notice how it feels to resonate with that beautiful energy. And then as we let it go, we see it taking that which we don't need, helping to help heal and center us. As we release and see that we're sending out that beautiful healing light by healing ourselves. Take another deep breath in, feel, notice, see the breath come in, completely envelop your entire torso, the chest, the belly, the back. Let that breath come in. Take a moment, let it resonate, and then as we exhale, it slowly dissipates, sending out that beautiful healing energy. Final time with this focused breath. Deep inhale, let the torso expand, feel the breath come into the entire body, let the torso come off the mat once again, hold at the top. Feel this beautiful healing energy come into your body, let it resonate. And then, just as we've done, let it slowly dissipate, releasing it and letting go of that which you don't need and seeing it transmute into healing energy. We'll gently let that all go as we come back to just our body in this moment, back to our normal breath and stillness as we come into our Savasana for just these last few moments. Slowly, we'll start to make our way back to our body, wiggling our fingers and toes. Start to stretch any way that feels appropriate. And we'll make our way over to our right side, coming into recovery. Notice how your body feels. Notice where your state of mind is. Just let that all resonate. And we'll gently make our way up through to a comfortable seated position. And as always, your eyes can be opened or closed. We'll gently inhale, let those arms float up towards the ceiling, let the hands touch. Bringing those hands to heart center, thumbs pointing towards the chest. Close your eyes if you'd like as we take this final moment here. So we thank ourselves for practicing once again today. Namaste. As always, if you've made it to this point, that you still practiced after my rant, I very much appreciate you being here. Thank you again. Please like, give me a thumbs up for my video, subscribe, pass this on to anybody that can help. And just be aware. Just be aware that we are consistently being infiltrated through lies. And we know they're lies because when it's emotionally fear-based, it's not factual. This stuff is not facts, and their facts are questionable, the facts that they are pushing as well. You don't even have to look far. It's been disclosed from the mainstream media that doctors in the US have been receiving 7-page letters just telling them how to categorize deaths. I could go on for hours with the conspiracies and weird coincidences related to our house arrest, but I won't. I encourage you, if you haven't, to do your research because it's time for us to wake up and connect. And I will see you again soon back on the mat. Namaste.